boom, boom. HAL OpenFi project.
Opening.
HAL compile program. HAL F12. All right. Virtual machine. Are you serious? You cannot be serious. Oh, that's more like it. Ooh. Different tunes. We could try some of these out. Into the blue. We could try that one out. La 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 la. If I do backslash, backslash, no, forward slash, forward slash. Volume 1. This could be interesting. No. Let's put no. Hang on. Ooh. The specified path was not found. Because what? Oh, yes, because I need to say synas1 slash volume 1. No, I don't even do that. I go straight into 007 copy. Let's try that. Ooh. Oh, that's
hello,
interesting.
Dino.
Yes, hello, Hal. How are you? Are you good? Are you good, Hal? How are you doing, Hal? You had any more humans annoying you recently? I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to look at the setup here, because what I would like to have happen is when there is desktop audio, it mutes my microphone. I had this set up before somehow. And then I know, let me set this up. I'm going to do a little bit of streaming housekeeping. That's a compressor on my voice. This is a compressor that, let's duplicate that. But what I'm going to do is, instead of full screen, this is going to be from desktop audio, I think. Desktop audio, there you are. Maybe this will work. Then when there is audio, it will automatically mute my microphone. That would be nice. Hello. Testing the microphone, and then I hit play here. And then I can actually.
The time has come. The time has come. I'm gonna take to these wings and reach for the sky. It won't be long before I learn how to fly. Time has come. The time has come. I'm gonna take to these wings and reach to the blue. I'm gonna leave it all behind, leaving you. Though it's easy to see, I'm gonna mean it The way is known. The way is known. I'm not scared anymore of trying to make it on my own. And anyway, it seems for so long I have lived on my own with the time has come for me to move on. So many ways it could turn. I'm going to turn to the blue. Gonna leave it all behind and it's easy to see how flawed I be. It's not news to me, don't need to hear it anymore. I don't care anymore. I will be
Hey there, Zag, how you doing? Is my mic working? Yes, is it? Sort of. Is it working? Ah, it's okay now. It was because there was some noise from that track. I'm doing good, thank you. I'm just working on Phi refactoring again, and then I thought, well, I recently managed to get all of my files from the last N number of years. You know, I don't know, all of my backup files. I've got this box with all these hard drives over the years, which includes backups of backups and all this other crap. So I got a NAS a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago more, and I have succeeded in transferring all of the hard disks into one NAS. This took a while, and that has all of my files. So I now have, for the first time in a long time, access to all of my files in one place. And so then from there goes a very long process of going through it all. So what I thought I would do is, while I'm working on Phi, is because I like to multitask, because sometimes, like, how do I do so many things? Don't I multitask, you know? So in this case, probably I'll give you examples. Like earlier on, I was working on something. What was it? I can't even remember it now. No, what was I working on? Ah, yes, I was working on the garden, because I sent the garden to get it mastered by this mastering house. I wasn't entirely happy with the result, but I was trying to figure out how to communicate to the mastering house, where they take the track and they just tweak it at the end. You know, there's a good reason for going to a mastering house, because if you find a good one like that, they'll make sure that the thing will sound good on anything. Whereas if you've got any kind of mistakes in your, basically you can get a master that sounds fine on one setup, right? But it's because it's a good setup, it's forgiving. And then when you try and when people try in their car or on their very poor quality Apple headphones that cost an awful lot, oh, I shouldn't say that. I mean, how good are those? I mean, they're fancy, aren't they? Those ear things. But I mean, in the end, they're not going to be anywhere near the quality that you'll get for those. Anyway, never mind. So that's. But I wasn't entirely happy with the results. So what I did was send the garden video to them and say, look, this is the feel that it's supposed to go with. So I was working on that, and then at the same time while I was waiting for the computer to do stuff, I was practicing my trumpet. And so what I can do now is another one. I'm not going to do that, but what I can do is I can now go and look at tunes I want to listen to while I'm doing this. And normally I do this off when I'm not streaming. I can listen to my music from my archives of all the songs I've half written, half finished, whatever. There's a huge back catalogue of stuff. So I can do that while I'm working on something else. I thought I'd do it now, but that does mean that I might play stuff that is a bit rough. Like that was a bit rough. That's from 2003. It was called Into the Blue. I actually like it. I think it's got potential. So maybe I should write this down. I need a ticketing system. I set up a ticketing system for myself, I swear. Anyway, whatever, too much. At some point, you've got to just get on. So I'm going to try that out. But how you doing? How you doing, Zag? Yeah, I'll play your theme in a minute. But the other thing is that I put shoes on a premiere. So I put the shoes on. So shoes is such a thing as a recording of a song that I wrote after coming to Brighton. So it's a fairly recent one in the last 3 years, song that I wrote. And although it was inspired originally, it was inspired by experience in Brighton, but it was actually more so inspired by an experience many, many years earlier when I went to America with Karina. And so that will be premiering tonight at midnight. Hurrah!
Hello, Dino.
Hello. How? Yeah, last night I was working on the appeal. I think it's very important. We have to remember that trolls, I'm talking about the last video from the video appeal on my YouTube. It's like we have to remember that all creatures on the planet, they, it's like everything. They're certain they're sacred. People, entities, things. They're all sacred. Whatever we do, we should not sort of be gleeful for their extinction, even if we are talking about trolls. So I think it is important to seriously consider how we should try and do our bit to help ensure that trolls do not become completely extinct. So I was working on that last night. Anyway, Hal, play Zach theme. Let's rename that to .5em, and then this becomes get store arg. This is going to take a while. That worked though. So this refactoring is going to take a while, and I'm not trying to get to a refactored position all in one go, because I don't believe in that. I believe in going in increments. So it's a refactor a step at a time. What's it not like here? Operator to C string not found. Now I did something with that. Right, so now I'm stopping because I'm going, what was that again? So now I'll multitask. And so what I was going to do is look for the next one. Oh, right, well, actually I can just look in here. So that was Into the Blue. There is a version of Spring Fever from the summer of 2011 on my iPhone. My God, iPhones have been around for a while. Jeez. I remember when I got my first iPhone. Do you remember when you got your first iPhone? See, now I should be able to just hit this and it should start.
Sight to behold, 'cause the cats were chasing the dogs and the dogs were growing old. Neath the willow where I once played guitar, see two squirrels dancing, more running from afar. And I need you tonight, and I need you alright. Spring fever, got a touch of that spring fever. Well, afternoons, the sky is turning grey, but I love to stay outside and feel the touch of the warm summer rain. In the sky I see a hole open wide. I feel myself tumbling till I fall inside, and I need you tonight. And I need you alright. Spring fever, got a touch of that spring fever. such delusions might just see me through. I can't help thinking, being alone with you, and I need you tonight. And I need you alright. Spring fever, and the touch of that spring fever. The spring fever. The spring fever.
So by coincidence, that particular take of Spring Fever in the summer of 2011 gives us the time. So it was 10 years ago that I was in America and was inspired to write the song Shoes, by staggering coincidence. Okay, so where were we here? And so that was recorded on was literally recorded on my iPhone with the multi-track DAW probably, and with a guitar and vocals and hitting stuff, because I didn't have any instruments with me, so I was probably slapping the guitar, you know. So the problem I've got here is, obviously I'm doing this thing so that there's a wrapper class and then the actual class, and I've put these static functions inside the implementation class. In actual fact, they really belong not in the implementation class at all. They should belong as an implementation of these, so actually part of exp item. So I'm going to put that in. Do 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 do. Operator to C string identifier not found. That's correct, because then I need to sort of repeat that here as well. HAL compile program. HAL next error. So this rename this to FIVM. This is going to be like so. HAL compile program. HAL next error. Alright, so this was the error that I had at the end of the last stream. The problem here is I'm trying to figure out, well, hopefully now I should be able to do that and get global context. Ta-da! Still a little ugly, but it's a step forward. You still there, Zag? You're my only audience. You are my audience. So we've got the get global context. Get cannot convert for initializer list. And now I have to figure out what. Aha! Cool. Good stuff. Bet you didn't expect to stream on a Wednesday. I didn't get to the streaming forecast this week because the emergency appeal for the troll. We don't know his name though. That's the problem. All the other characters have got names. Well, I suppose the evil internet marketeer doesn't have a name, other than evil internet marketeer. But he doesn't really count. And what happened to him? We don't know. There's so many loose ends that could probably be tied together at a later date. Cannot convert from... What is this error? FIVM get global context. Cannot convert from initializing a 6-bit item. How F12. That particular function here, that particular function returns a reference to a state which is yeah, which is correct. HAL F12. But it should be a pointer. Why does that have to take it as a pointer? It doesn't. That should also work, which is better. And then we get this set store. FI. Oh, and look at that. Oh no. Yeah. Okay. No, that's fine. FIVM set store. I can do that instead. I did not release the Hugh Meme song. The Hugh Meme song has not been officially released. It's not an official release, although after your comment today about the solo, I was going, so maybe it will go into the queue of things to be remixed. It wouldn't take very long. But it's it's a garage band tune. It was done like, I remember it was done around the time that I was still streaming on the development of Kickoff Revival, and I was feeling particularly annoyed at trolls and the internet and the gamer culture police and reviewers and, you know. But it's weird. I always thought it was a bit silly, a bit naff. But then it's like you it's so hard to judge one's own music. It really is hard. I kind of, because now I've been working for 3 years, like 2 days a week, 2 days a month, in the studio, and we put in all the work at trying to get the most out of these tracks and push the production value and all of that, and then you have to do that to understand what is good and what isn't. And so then I go and listen to that, and I'm going, actually, well, that sits okay with this other stuff, you know. So it's like the releases, most of the releases are full production stuff, which I haven't really even got. There's a huge, I like The Garden is one that is very close to being ready. And then we put all that work and effort in there, and then I listen to the Humeme track and I'm going, well, actually, you know, that kind of works. So, well, why the hell didn't I think it worked 4 years ago? And it's just the way you look at it. And then you pointed out you pointed out the solo, and I hadn't thought anything of the solo. So then I went and listened to the. All right, I'll listen to the solo, and I listened to the solo, and I went, "What? Zag really likes that solo, the whistle solo." And then going, "Well, it is kind of cool that I'm playing a penny whistle. It's an Irish whistle. It doesn't sound anything like an Irish whistle, but it is." Do you want to know the funny thing? It was recorded on my damn iPad. In GarageBand. Not even a proper microphone. I literally did it like this. I would go, "Are you a human? Are you human?" It's interesting. And I'm thinking, oh, well, all the work I put in to some tracks. It's like people like Humming, right? But Humming is literally a scratch track I did in an afternoon, and I laid down a loop of the drums, sort of one thing at a time, and the original bass line may even have come from GarageBand, and then I stuck a microphone near the piano and just did one take on the piano. And it's like, well, what the hell? If I tried to do this, you can't do that. It just happens. You can't. I could not have said, right, now I'm going to do a track, and it's not going to have any guitar on it. It's going to just be piano. You know, if I'd intended to do that, it wouldn't have worked. But I was just messing about. I was playing. And then it's like, well, actually, it kind of works. And so then I do all of this work on some tracks. That track was really easy. We just went into the studio and Simon just remixed it. Very little work on it, and there you go. You just can't. You can't. When you make something, it's really, really hard to judge it. So that's one of the reasons why it's taking a long time to get the tracks out, because I leave them for a long time before I hear them. Sometimes I work on a track and I don't come back to it for 6 months, and then 6 months later I listen to it again and I go, oh, all right, and then I've got some idea of what I want to want to adjust, you know. That's the way that it works. So the garden was originally started nearly 3 years ago. So I'm fairly happy with it. Just final little tweak, and then it'll be good. But I suppose that's giving me the sort of, I should go back through the archives and see what else is there. Anyway, but anyway, thanks a lot, Zag. I mean, it meant a lot to me that I mean, because let's be honest, there aren't a lot of people complimenting me on my music, so I have to really I really appreciate it. So what was the next one? That was Spring Fever. Then there was also on the same, the summer of 2011, again, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings. Yeah. I actually played that song at a jam outside in America, in California. I remember there was this sort of jam going on outside a place, and this young guy turned up with some grumpy old guy with him, which was probably his father, and he was playing the harmonica, and there was a drummer and a bass player and so on, and I know why the caged bird sings. And people who were there said that it was a moment, but it wasn't recorded, so it was lost forever. But I remember that. I like moments like that. Those are moments I remember. I live for moments like that. They don't come very often. But they're worth waiting for. You actually get to play music with other musicians and have something pop up. So this isn't that, but this is I know why the caged bird sings from the same time as spring fever. Oh, you know it from Radio. Hopefully. Spelt with an I, by the way, because you missed the joke. It's a radion, Dion, anagram of Dino, but also radio. It's radio N, radio. Never mind.
I was too young to love you. Now I'm too old to know how to. The songs in my heart, they scare you. And I'm too old to know how not to. You know, I know why the caged bird sings. You know, I know why the caged bird sings. Can feel why I'd like to take to its wings. You know, I know. I found myself lying when all I wanted to do was crawl. Locked in, I find I am sighing. This wisdom gained after all. You know, I know why the caged bird sings. You know, I know why the caged bird sings. Can feel why it'd like to take to its wings. You know, I know. Some people, they have lovers. Some people, they live alone. Some spend their lives chasing each other. Some chasing a home. You know, I know why the caged bird sings. You know, I know why the caged bird sings now. Can feel why it'd like to take to its wings. You know, I know. The years have rolled by, and I'm still here. I'm still on my own, living with that one fear that I can't even fly anymore. You know, I know why the caged bird sings. You know, I know why the caged bird sings now. You can feel why it'd like to take to its wings. You know, I know. You know, I know. You know, I know. No, I know, I know, I know, I know.
That's a little bit too fast and a little bit rough, but I believe that for the bass, the drum there, I was literally tapping on the side of a wardrobe, a closet. You get what you get. Yeah, you could tell as well that it had been a few years that I hadn't been singing. About 4, I suppose. I've been singing. I was singing a lot up to about 4 years. Up to about 2007. That is when I went to the Netherlands, and that was about 4 years in the Netherlands. Yeah. Not really much opportunity for doing live music when I was in the Netherlands. It really didn't work out. Live music's a pain because you have to deal with people such as venue owners. They're crazy. It's a dance, I tell you. It's a right. So syntax error identified. Let me try building this. Well, we're working on that song, but it'll be a lot better than that. FIVM. It's still interesting to listen to them because I hear different interpretations of my songs, because over the years it changes. You leave things behind, sometimes thankfully. What is going on here? State is not a member of... What do you mean state is not? Yeah. Let's try that. State is not a member of FIVM state. State is... I know, I just edited it. Why are you doing it again? Can you explain that to me? swear, did you see it compile? I saw it compiled and the error didn't go away. It's like, what gives? FIVM state opaque. What is going on? I was looking at the wrong one just because I've got these two. I split this up. You see, this is what is always a pain with these IDEs. They put features in that in the end you end up never using. It's like I split the screen. I rarely split the screen in Visual Studio. Well, that's the reason why I rarely split the screen in Visual Studio. Is that after a while it just becomes real, a liability. So that explains what happens. Right, what's this? FIVM state opaque. FIVM and it's important to remember to put the so blah 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 blah. Next one. Da 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 da. 119 errors. Ooh. La 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 la. What does it not like? No, overloaded member found in the thing. No, because we need to go to expert item. I wish that was easier pronounced. Whichever one it was. If I go to this, I go to declaration. Oh man, I want to go to the declaration. Come on. And just stuck here. It's like no. So what's the point of having IntelliSense if it doesn't do what it's supposed to do? All I've just done is that helpful feature has just wasted my time and then distracted me when I should have just looked. I'm looking for string FIVM state, string FI, because that says state exactly right. So if we copy that, and it's probably did the the thing fail? Of course it failed. It failed because there was an error. But then what's the use of having the system if it's unable to track what it's unable to track what that was connected to, because it was now generating an error. But that is the perfect time to use the tool to find the line that is in error, but it's forgotten and it can't. It's disconnected from it because there's an error. So spare me. Syntax error FIVM state. Why don't you like about that now? Compiling source file built-in because I'm compiling the source file built-in.cpp. So it's all to do with managing headers. It's all to do with managing headers. In this case, the problem is that now with this arrangement, I need to have FIVM state defined before export item. So what I need to do is and then I can't because it's a circular reference. Not this again. Jeez. Maybe I just need to just maybe I just need to just rewrite the whole thing from scratch. Oh, circular reference. How did I resolve the circular reference before? I can't remember. FIVM state. Well, let's try class FIVM state. Does that work? Maybe. Maybe. Alright. Cannot convert from initializer list to... We got this one again. Put the error there. Go to the definition of this. This returns a reference to a state. Didn't I already do this up here? Oh no, maybe not. When you set your store, given I'm trying to set the variable graphics clear to 1 in a very awkward way, which will be refactored later, but the problem is that when I create it, it's weird, I don't need to specify a context. I don't need to do that. Oh man, I can just leave it null. Can I? I can. I will. Oh dear. I don't think I need to do that. I think I can just do this. It still made sense to figure that out, but I don't think I actually need that, because the context is only necessary when it's a reference. So I forgot that. Alright, so if I go to the declaration of this, what I can do is create one that's a string by itself. I need to create a definition for that in exp item. This one I can just if we don't supply a context, it's going to just set it to null. It's alright. Okay, so let's try it again, see if that worked. This is fine, and now I can just solve this by doing that. It was still worthwhile. Right, I'll go a bit faster now. Operator cease. Right, so this would be extra item, and we do that. Do, and then null undefended entity. Yeah, because it's null pointer. Right, go next. Static should not be used on member functions defined at file scope. Yeah, that's right, because you don't, you know, I don't know why. The problem here is that this is defining a static, and you can tell it's static when you look in the header file. You can see that it's static because it says static in there, and that's but you're not allowed to say static here. That's really annoying, because you want to be... It's kind of useful to know, and this is one of my big objections to C++, is how there's a disconnect between the header and the implementation. So that when you're working, you have to continually look at both all the time. It just doesn't make any sense. Now there are some ways of remedying that. One of them, well, there are a few. One of them would be to allow things like that. Another one is to allow you to include the qualifier when you actually put them in the class, so that the line is the same and you don't have to edit it. It would be nice. What would be really nice is if you could just you could do something like this. I don't know, making it up. Class. Yeah, no reason you couldn't. Class expert item. Okay, but then the problem is there's already one defined, right? So we get an error with that. So what you do is you do class you could do class definition, or you could just be really cheeky and just sort of do this. Invent some notation, and then what? And then anything that you list in here. Oh, how about this? I got it, because you like to do this without keywords. Because this notation. How great would that be? It's so easy. Can I suggest this to the C++ standard? Because the point here being is that then anything that you do in there, you can just then go like this and not have to do this bit. Wouldn't that be great? But no, instead we have to do all of this, and then I have to put a comment in there if I want to see that it's static. And then of course maybe the function changes so it's not static anymore, and because the compiler doesn't check the comment, you don't see, and then someone comes along and says it's static, and they think it's static but it isn't static, and it's all just like confusion. Moan. Right, so then I have to change these. So this would be and why didn't I do it this way in the first place? Because I wasn't sure this was the way it was going to be. I'm still not. The whole of the extra item class is probably going to have to be redone. Just will. I know it. La 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 la. This comes up a lot. Where's the map? What? Why did it go up there? Dear me. Right. La la. La la. Maybe I should just make a macro for these. You see how when I'm going backwards, look at that, it's the cursor, instead of just moving regularly across, it's like that. That's fine. And then come across and it goes and it stops. That's really annoying. That's it. But it's very clever. It's very clever IDE. It has to do all this stuff. I don't know if you've ever tried editing JavaScript in Visual Studio on a really powerful computer. Oh, it's great. You're sitting there typing, and you're typing faster than the computer can actually print. Hilarious. It's so funny. State is... I didn't know that there were header I don't know what you mean by that. So state is not a member of FIVM state. That's true, because now I just call it FIVM state. I mean, FIVM state is perhaps a little gratuitous. And more, I suppose I should do a search. I could do a search replace. You did JavaScript in 15 years ago, yeah. 15 lines of pseudocode. I think JavaScript is well described as pseudocode. It's a pseudo language. It's not a real language. It was a hack. It was done. Oh, that's not the right command for that's in Emacs. I'm trying to do Emacs. Is that search replace there? Control H. There we go. I've had enough. I'm going to put search and replace in at last. Place next. Of course it misses one out. I mean, it's just... Computers are brilliant because they automate things for you. Oh, I know, you say, well, why don't I just replace all? Because I've got some already replaced, and then it's going to just replace them twice. We could make AI to help with this kind of thing, but no, it's very much more important to create fake faces and fake people and fake videos so that we can just be fake to everybody and totally confuse them. The really scary thing is that all this technology with all this fake stuff, you know, being able to, we can make anybody say anything. It's really not a good idea to invent that technology. It's the example of technology that's not actually useful. A bit like Bitcoin. It's technology that is not actually useful, isn't it? It's sort of like creates the ability to deceive. I mean, come on. How nuts are we as a human race? We've all of the effort and technology, everything we created, and that we're making AI that creates fake human beings. There's a thing, isn't there, an avatar thing, or I can't remember now what it was called, but it's this new thing that's out. You can actually just sort of, yeah, you can make yourself speak like the Mona Lisa. I mean, I suppose it's kind of useful for me. Maybe I could see use for it in my videos, maybe. Really? That's it, because I'm special, you see. I'll be the only one using it. It's like, that's the problem. It's like, it isn't special if everybody can do it. If it can be done by anybody, then what does it mean? And then what? And people will be, you can make somebody say anything. We're at that point where you can make anybody say anything. So then you don't know what's real and what's fake anymore. So it would be not beyond the bounds of possibility, you could write a sci-fi novel on this, that eventually there'll be the situation where everybody knows that it's all fake, but we're all programmed to respond as though it's true. Because we're conditioned, although we know it's fake, and we're told it's fake, or could be fake, that we can't trust our own eyes. You see, there's the twist. The use of the technology is to ensure that people no longer can trust their own eyes. See the beauty of that? If you can remove the ability for people to trust their own eyes, ultimate power for someone. That's it. Just make everybody doubt. It's a thing we seem to be supremely good at doing, is making people doubt themselves. I mean, you know, and this is not conspiracy theory, it's just a fact. Well, I don't know that it's a conspiracy fact. I wouldn't call it a conspiracy, but it's a fact. That's what we do. How can you deny it? We look at what happens with women that are ashamed of their bodies. They're programmed to doubt their own bodies. Think about it. That's the number one. That's the number one thing that we do to people is ensure that they doubt themselves right from the early days. Oh, well, you know, I know that you're doing very well learning about stuff by sort of bumbling around and bumping into things, and you've learned how to walk, and you've learned how to talk, and you've learned how to recognize things. You've done that all by yourself. Isn't that great? But you know, now what we're going to do to you, poor little thing, is that we're going to make you doubt yourself. And it's that all the way through. And then what better way to make people doubt themselves than to make them doubt their own eyes? It's inevitable. Why am I on a webcam? That's a very good point. When you can read 90% of a human being on what they are, how they, yeah, I can tell you that's one thing I learned the hard way, is that when you are getting more communication from visual interactions with people than actually what they're saying, that's how you know you're in a toxic situation in a work environment. And I've been in that situation where, though things were being said, there was a huge amount of communication that was non-verbal, and there was more non-verbal communication than verbal communication, and it's horrible. It's the worst thing in the world, you know, when you're there and you do something like you present some piece of work that you've done. Fortunately, this isn't anything that's current, fortunately, because not currently suffering this problem, I'm happy to say. I hope it long continues that way, because I really don't want to go through that again. But I've been in the situation where it's like you present your work and you think that it's good work. Well, you know that it's good work. And the reaction that you get is one where you can just smell from the reaction that, you know, people are not supposed to like it, is the only way I can put it. You know, this is one of the ingredients of toxic. This happens to people. And we must have all been there. You know, you're going, and then you realise at that point that there's some kind of thing going on that you don't know about. Because, you know, it's supposed to be that when you do your work, you know, you're in a team, you do the work, and people will actually take a moment to appreciate the work that you've done, right? So the classic, then you get silence back. And then you just go, that's it. And then you're looking at everybody and you're going, I'm getting a lot of information, but none of it's verbal. Yes. You know, we're tribal animal, you know, but the thing is animals, it's not that. It's that well, yes, it's Lord of the Flies, basically. That if this is why values at a company are so important. And it's not enough that those values are written down. They need to actually be looked after and maintained in the same way that you cultivate a garden. You have to look after your garden. You create your values. You have to look after your values. You absolutely have to. You cannot leave them unattended, because things start to... It's not because of malice, and it's not because of people being bad or people being tribal. It's just nature. What nature, and we've tried to fight our human nature, but our human nature is the same as all other nature, and it has this tendency to do a thing, which is that if you let it do its own thing, it tends to spread out. If you take a garden that's well tended and you stop tending it, it's not an evil garden for beginning to return back to a natural form. And what is that natural form? That natural form is all the different bits of life trying to sort of battle for some space. That's a garden that's not tended, right? When you tend the garden, you put some rules of engagement down. You know, things like the grass should grow on the lawn and not in the flower beds. The flowers should grow in the flower beds and not in the lawn. I mean, why? It's because we want it that way. It doesn't. I'm not placing a value judgment on it, but that is the value of the garden. You know, those are the rules of the garden. And if you're not there to enforce it, it naturally bleeds. You will start getting flowers growing in the lawn and lawn growing in the flower beds. You know, you cannot expect the lawn and the flowers by themselves to obey your rules. And people are like that. And when people are in a group, if you don't maintain the values of that group, it will start bleeding in a similar way. Things will become blurred. And it's not because of malice, and it's not because people are bad, it's just nature. And so the toxicity, when it arises because things are not being tended to that should be always. And that's how you can have toxic environments even amongst good people. How does it happen? It happens because communication breaks down, the communication that is there to enforce enforce in a good way, to maintain, if you prefer, maintain the value system. And eventually then you'll end up with people on the inside and people on the outside. At a certain point a flip will occur. And the flip that occurs if you leave it too long is where the ones who are on the inside are the ones who disregard the values, and the ones who try to maintain the values are the ones who are on the outside. And then you're done for. It's only a matter of time before the whole thing just goes to ruin at that point, because anybody, standing up and saying, but why are we behaving like this when our values are clearly this, are the person that becomes the person that everybody hates. And I've seen it happen. It's not a good thing. You become, the classic is where you have the values which are the declared values, and the reality which is different from the declared values. There will always be a deviation between the two. There's always going to be, because nothing is ever perfect. But the danger is when anybody points out a difference between what is declared and what it actually is, becomes treated as an outsider. That point, that's the point where there's a problem, when there's a lack of ability to appraise or judge objectively anymore how well you're adhering to the declaration of intent. That can really get weird. I mean, if you've ever encountered a bully, for example, bullies are interesting characters, but you encountered a bully, and bullies can actually genuinely believe they're nice people. I mean, they actually genuinely believe themselves to be nice. So that gets very complicated then. How do you argue with someone who considers themselves to be really, really nice? And there's no point in beating around the bush on this one. These things exist. Peoples like this exist. We all know that they do. And you can encounter them anywhere. And over 40 years, I've encountered my share. How do you deal with them? That's really odd, because they do something that they hurt you, and then you go and say, please do not hurt me. And then they cannot accept that. If they accept your reality, it means they have to accept that they have not been nice. And then to accept that they've not been nice, they have to accept a different view of themselves than the one they hold. They cannot accept that, so that does not happen. And so what's the choice of how can you possibly therefore go forward? The only way is to deny what the person has said. So the immediate response is things like, well, no, you're just making a fuss, that kind of stuff. It's the only response, and it's totally logical. It's the only response, because the alternative is that they would have to accept that their view of themselves does not actually match the reality of themselves. It's the simplest thing. The problem then is that the person who's the victim goes and insists. Well, then the problem is that the bully looks at that insistence as being a lack of respect for them. So they haven't acknowledged what's happened. They've denied what's happened. They've denied that they could possibly be at fault. But what's the other person supposed to do who feels aggrieved? Are they supposed to just walk away? Well, if let's say that there was actually that the one who's aggrieved has a point. What are they supposed to do? The only thing that they can do is they keep at it. And then the bully looks at that keeping at it as being they're being victimized. And that's the only possible thing that it can be, because any other alternative would require that they admit that they're not as nice a person as they think they are. And this, I'm talking about one person. But the problem is you can get that kind of psychology going with a group. So everything that applies to how you interact with one person can also apply to a group of people, even if it doesn't necessarily happen with any individuals. Eventually, though, what will happen is that all the individuals will also take up the group position, and so in this way you can end up with a victim being declared by a group as the oppressor. And you don't need to look too hard in history to see examples of that. Again, it's because either you declare the supposed victim as being the oppressor, or you have to accept that you're not as nice as you think you are. So there you are. So in other words, Tony, it's or Zag, it's complicated. I think we can summarise it that way. Complexity. Yes, sure is. What can we do about it? There really isn't anything you can really do about it. What happened here? I suspect that we need to put this here like so. There we go. So the moral of the story is that if you want to prevent all of this kind of thing, what you need to do is have an agreed, you need to have a constitution, you know, an agreed manner of a way of behaving, so that there is a process that is stronger than the weaknesses of human beings. It's like a gardener, and you put the gardener, it isn't a person. It can't be a person. It cannot be a person, because that doesn't work. It has to be written down. And of course that's one reason why in the United Kingdom has so many problems, because that's one thing it doesn't have. It does not have a written constitution, which I find hilarious for a democracy. I don't know how you can actually have, nobody's answered this question ever. How can you have a democracy if you don't have a written constitution? Answers on a postcard, please. You know, it's like, it's as crazy as suggesting you can have a democracy if people can't vote. I'm sure there's some way to wiggle around it. Yeah, I suppose they can invent all manner of ways of wiggling, trying to wiggle out of that. So FIVM state is here. Why does it not like this? State, oh right, it's the same old thing. I think it's always good for everybody to remember that they're probably not as nice as they think they are. That's the way to be a nice person. Syntax error, missing semicolon before. It's kind of a random error. Why have I got this error? Set store. I don't think I need this anymore. I'm just deleting it. Bye bye. And is anything using this ID count? Yeah, so let's move that up here. Yeah, this is all C style stuff. There isn't much left in here. We'll take it a step at a time. What have I got now? What are you complaining about now, compiler? Alright, here we've got syntax error, missing semicolon before colon. So the only way that can happen is where does it get states from? I think this is yeah. Auto item states at current. rule, auto and item. That's a bit of a weird error message. I'm not sure what that is. No idea. Time to do some marketing. Can we do some marketing? Let's do some marketing. We'll go to YouTube, and oh my God, there are 2 people watching. I saw that. Hello, other person other than Zag. It's like, my word, I'm rocking tonight. Where was I going to do? I try not to look at that because gets annoying. It's not exactly it's not exactly good for morale. I did do a little bit of marketing on the last single, and it's now got 40 views, so that was encouraging. What I want to do is share this. Because there's a premiere in 40 minutes. Let's just post this. Yes, I used to be a little more. What are you talking about? Google shadow banned me. Can you describe that? Are you joking? I hope so. I don't even know what shadow banning is. Thing is, I never know whether anybody's being serious or not. If it's a joke, I find very difficult right these days to know the difference between a joke and not a joke. I'm really bad at that. Like really bad at it, because I don't have a good algorithm for deciding, you know, which is it. That'll be a conspiracy. I've been banned secretly. Oh well, you know, I don't say. I mean, it's not. It's not. Oh, okay. So you think that's a possibility? Well, I've got news for you. They'd already exist. But not in the form of a list that you get your name on. It's just in the form of the only thing that you will get popularity with is if you do things which are popular. That's the problem with the internet as it is now. And that's not me. I'm not here to say what people want to hear. I mean, unless they do want to hear it. But what I mean is I'm not saying things for the purpose of popularity. You may have noticed that. I mean, you know, I've never really been the seeker of popularity. I just want enough popularity that I can fool myself that I'm doing something meaningful. Because then I'll keep doing it. That's the whole reason I'm here, the whole reason I do this. But I don't. Gosh, I was thinking, oh, I could sell out. You know, it'd be easy to do. I could start doing those sort of normal videos thing that I do with. I use that because that's the only tool I've got that I can use and do things quickly enough with the amount of time I have. But be really easy. What you do is you go and analyze all the most popular sites, the most popular YouTubers, and you look at how they behave, and they all behave in the same way. A lot of the really thing. The first one is they've got to have a lot of jump cuts, and it's like they probably found that. I have a theory about this. I think that they found that when they make videos with more jump cuts, the more jump cuts that they do, the more successful. Because doing the jump cuts is a pain. It's like, gosh, wouldn't it be easier just to let the video run? So it's almost like there must be something hypnotic about jump cuts. Must be. So they all do that. The other thing they always do is they always have this acerbic sense of humour. That's always about talking about something, so as if they are very sincere. Not all. I mean, there are sites that don't do this, and they're just genuine. I can mention a few. Fran Blanche is one. Curious Mark is another. Mr. Carlson's Lab. Then there are ones that almost do that. Adam Neely. He's a serious. He has a serious side to what he does, but he made his. He also has a set of gags, and those gags are the thing I'm talking about. You can use those gags to gain popularity, and you can do it sort of in a benign way. So someone like Adam Neely does that, and I'm not knocking what he does. He's very knowledgeable in music, and he's doing a good thing. He's doing a good thing because he's spreading the word of music for a more sort of, let's say, critical ear on music and helping people develop that. So I'm not going to knock it, but I'm just pointing out that there are ways that you can do that. But the thing is, I'm not that person. I couldn't do that. And I couldn't. I mean, in a way, I kind of feel a little annoyed with what I'm doing with normal, because in some ways it feels like I'm heading down that to the dark side with that. But then I remember, no, you're not quite, because your message is you're deliberately holding back from going for the punchline that will bring the popular laugh. I'm not interested in that, because there's plenty of other people doing that. I'm the guy who lives in the niche because it's my job. That is my job. The thing about the niche is that you'd never get particularly popular. So I was saying about the shadow bandies, but the thing is, it exists already, in the sense that if you aren't talking about or being or working with that popular energy, let's say, then the algorithm does not like you. How is that any different from being on a list? I mean, in a sense, we're all on a list, and it's not just me. I mean, there's Pete Uplink. He makes games. He's made one recently, which is sort of a reverse Manic Miner. I think he called it Manic Mariner, and I think it's quite clever. And yeah, I like it. But the thing is he's a guy plugs away, has been plugging away at making games, and from time to time he tries to put them on sale, as people do, and so on, and he hits the same thing we all hit, which is, the algorithm doesn't really like him because it doesn't really like me. It doesn't really like anybody who's a nobody. It only likes people who are somebodies, and that's it. you know. So in a way, it's hard coding. We're all in a database. We're all given a figure. We all have an influence figure. It's there influencing what happens whenever we say something. Best thing to do is probably not to say anything. And a lot of people very wisely take that position. But I'm at heart an entertainer. It's sort of my job. So I do things that maybe influence and help people sometimes, in small ways, dropping little stones that make little ripples. That's me. And that's why Kickoff was terrible, because that rather destroyed that dynamic, you see. I'd be it's sort of like that wasn't supposed to happen. It really wasn't. This is me justifying how I can feel comfortable about the fact that I carry on streaming when there's only 2 people watching. Sometimes I'm streaming and there's nobody watching. It's really weird. So I really don't think that is... And anyway, what did Garcia ever do that was that bad? So that's a more interesting question, and if you want to fill me in, please do. Because I don't think... what did he do? What did he do that would make you say that? What do I need to know? You are. I know. You're very special, Zag, because you're like 1 in 8 billion. One. He's always talking about the truth. There isn't. He's all talking about his truth. We all talk about our own truths. I was in the middle of doing something and I realised I distracted the hell out of myself. Did I put it on all? No, I can't remember if I sent it on all of them. Let's have a look. So on my profile we see my last post was, oh yes, I put it on Twitter. Did I put it on LinkedIn? Just check. See, did I put it on LinkedIn? I mean, I don't really look after these profiles anymore. I just sort of just use them as a means of communicate. Any old fool that could possibly be interested in any silly thing that I'm doing, you know. Yeah, so it's on there, and Facebook doesn't really matter, to be honest. Who's Jordan Peterson? I don't even know who Jordan Peterson is. I'm not sure I want to know, to be honest. 25 minutes to the premiere. No one is always right. So what's this one? This is a song called Go. And it was on my YouTube originally. It was an improvised song. As I recall, the lyrics were improvised and I had some idea of the tune that had just come to me. And this was written about someone that I worked with, that I couldn't stand by the end of the project. I couldn't. I didn't want to ever talk to them again. you know, I'm human. Let's see. Ah, it's okay. I'll watch it by myself, Tony. have a nice pizza. I hope you enjoy it. Is my microphone overloading? It could be a little. Check. 1 2 1 2. Oh yes, it is. It is overloading a little. La 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 la. Yeah, all right. Why is this not working? Hello?
Don't you tell me that I'm free. I believe it less than ever. All those deadlines that weren't together, taking it all out of me. Don't you tell me that it's cool.
Have a good pizza.
Kind of wrangle. It didn't have to be so tangled, taking it all out of me. So I'm gonna sit down right over here, have myself now nice cool beer. I don't care if you're happy, don't care if you're sad. Just stay away from me, you don't want me to get mad. I'm looking forward to your vacation. Pack your things and go. Don't you tell me I should chill inside a fire is churning, with all the wasted hours I've been burning, taking it all out of me.
Yeah, it's really annoying, that error. I'm looking at this, all it says is missing semicolon before colon. What right does it have to... The only thing I can think is it's a problem with the use of... Well, I don't think I can work remotely from Italy. I don't think that would work. But also, you have to think that I've got Karina as well. You know, she's got a job too. So there we are. And it took us long enough. to get here and sort out the visa and all that. So it's not item. That's really weird. Really weird that I get that error. I don't. What is wrong with that? I don't see. All right. So what I'm going to have to try to do. Right. I know what to do. I'm going to put an error here, error line here. So then, if I comment out, it's like how to debug this. You know. I suppose I could just do this instead. I'll just comment out that, and I'm sure I will catch the error on line 140. Over here. Right, there we go. Yeah, it didn't have a problem with that. It was fine with that. And it was fine with that. You don't need money, just buy Bitcoin. Yeah. All I need is the illusion that I am doing something meaningful. Because I am a weak fool who needs to feel like they're doing something meaningful. That's my problem. Life would be much easier if I didn't feel it. I had to do something meaningful. It's a disease. But I try to be constructive about it, right? But thanks for saying hi. Otherwise, I'd have gone all the way. I'd have gone all the way to this. It's like 2 hours of streaming without a single message from anybody. It's the end of the lockdown. Those, you know, the glorious days of streaming in the lockdown are over. Yeah. I wonder what's going to happen. The whole... Yeah, never mind. Yeah, well, whatever. I'm going to carry on working on my Phi programming language. Why? Error. See, isn't that weird? It's like it was no... It got to here without the error. And then I put this in, and then... Oh my God. It's one of those... It's one of those phantom... I have these happen from time to time. There's no explanation. It's like a phantom thing gets inside the machine. It goes into my source code. You see, look, I haven't changed anything. I literally commented it out and put it back. And now it doesn't seem to be making the error. I'm going to try and track this down. I've been here before. It happens occasionally. And nobody ever knows why. Why does it do it? Who knows? So what we're going to do is look at that. That was the last change I've made. I'm just doing an undo. And we come to the here. Like that. Okay. And then I hit compile. And look, syntax error, missing. Ah! His is 2021. What is going on here? And so at this point we have to do a very careful and really zoom into this. Now, look at this. There's a syntax error here. So I'm going to just try putting hash error here. It's going to compile. It's going to compile. What the? Oh, this because it's a two-pass, multi-pass compiler. It never got. It doesn't. Right, I can't do it that way. Right. I know. The problem is that when it runs on it, I want it to stop. I suppose I could do it this way. It wasn't that mysterious. The mysterious, strange, invisible character, it wasn't that. I thought it was, but it wasn't. What I've done is now made two functions. And it's actually failing on both of them. It's failing on both of them, so at least we have some consistency. Yay. Now, I know it will fail on this one. So I have a way of being able to assess, you know, if it gets through the first. That's where the first error occurs. So it got through this, and then now I can try to put this in without the thing there. I'll try this again, and it still doesn't. Yes, it doesn't like it. So then what we do is, what it must be is that this is the problem. It has to be that. Well, let me verify that. For item in, and I'm going to change what this is. So can I put in a, let's try that. I'm curious. Yeah, look, it didn't object to that. So I have now proven that the error message, even though it says the syntax, this is the problem here. C++ is so difficult to parse because of this kind of thing. It's like it says the error is here, but the error is only here because it doesn't like what this is. So the error is this. So I suppose what I could try is to break this down by doing auto, say q equals and this, and see if this generates an error. I can then sort of do that. And there's a use for auto, by the way, other than this, which is also good use for auto. But I mean, that for trying to do this kind of debugging of stuff, dump state file, it did not. What? That what? This does not generate an error. I have assigned this to a variable q and then did the for. Why does that not generate an error? It got past it. this doesn't make any sense. Let's go to string 2. So I've got, what I'm doing now is I've got 2 of these functions, one of which is going to be like this, where I use an intermediate variable, which is that one, and this one I'm just going to put it in place here. One is going to work and the other's going to fail. That's it. Look. Oh, hang on. It's failing like that on all of them. This looks suspiciously like a compiler bug, at which point everybody laughs. He thinks it's a compiler bug. Oh, it's never a compiler bug. Because the code was working before. How can that... Right, I'm going to have to look that up. I'm officially talking to myself. What do you think about that? Yeah. Always straight and to the point. That is very odd. Because this code used to compile, and now it doesn't compile. I'm not even sure what changed it to stop it compiling. And this problem occurs everywhere. So what I'm going to do is no, this is dangerous because there's a copy. I can't do that. It's going to be a copy. Think about it. Because I can do that, yeah, I do that, but then I'm copying stuff into a temporary variable, iterating over the temporary. Have I created a copy of the entire list? Oh, let's go to the definition of rules. It's a vector. Rules is a vector. So yeah, it will copy the whole vector. Weird. This is one of those really weird ones. But the fact that I can assign it to a variable, a temporary variable, means that it's the compiler's happy with the existence of this thing. Oh. Auto. I'm trying to build an open source game, but I keep getting this error when trying to build. I've been searching for the last time, nothing's working. The only issues generated have to do with the version of the compiler and going back years and years and years and years. I don't know. Well, anyway, I think this rather sad stream I'm going to bring to an end. I can go and chill out instead. But we have the thing coming up, don't we, in 6 minutes. Well, I've got 6 minutes. I'll be hanging around on the premiere of the video in case anybody wants to say hi on the premiere, but keep clinging in there by your fingernails, Dino. Yeah. What is the thing here? Is I can't believe it. There was something on Stack Overflow about it, but it had to do with the version of the compiler not supporting this construction. But it does support it, because if I put it into a variable, it's fine. Boom, 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 boom. My word, there literally is nothing. This is it. This is the only one. Oh, hang on, there's another one here. From 2010. No, absolutely no help. I suppose I can do the following. Auto, and I'm really not that au fait with the auto thing. Yeah, we can try it. But I think, can I do that? And then oh, it like that. There's compiler bug preventing this from being in line. I'm kind of classified as a compiler bug. It could be that the bug is being caused by other errors in the file, and so when I fix the rest of it, it could be that I could put this back. That'll be my guess. We've got a couple of minutes, so I'm going to sign off. Thanks for watching, every single one of you. And oh, I forgot. if you are watching, then we can go to here, and I can go to here, and this is the next one with a premiere. Take care, everyone. Bye.